Taking these first moments out of Nehemiah. The background, a quick background, is the nation of Israel have been in captivity in Babylon. They've been given the permission, they've been given instruction to come back to Jerusalem and rebuild the walls and rebuild the temple. And so what is happening now is that the people who have come back to build, in verse 73 of chapter 7, now the priest, the Levites, the gatekeepers, the singers, that's us, that's all of us in the room. Some of the people, the temple servants of all of Israel lived in their cities. And when the seventh month came, the sons of Israel were in their cities. Chapter 8, verse 1. And all the people gathered as one man at the square, which was at the front of the water gate. And they asked Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had given Israel. Then Ezra the priest brought the law before the assembly of the men, the women, and all who could listen with understanding on the first day of the seventh month. And he read from it before the square, which was in front of the water gate, from early morning until midday, and in the presence of the men and the women, those who could understand, and all the people who were attentive to the book of the law. So from this word here, what I've done is I've asked these brothers to come and give emphasis upon the benefit of the Word of God and how good it is for us to be hungry and thirsty for righteousness, which is described by the Bible. I want to make the argument that in this day in which we are in, we don't need less of the Word. I want to make the argument we need more of the Word. You're going to hear these brothers tonight speak about the significance of the Word. In a day where there is more access to the Word of God, there's more preachers at our fingertips, and because of the internet, there's podcasts coming out of our ears. There's devotionals that are extremely good and beneficial to us. And so why would there be an argument that we need more of the Word? Well, what I want to say in the introduction here this evening is that there were times in which there were famines in the nation of God's people. An argument here is a biblical argument. Is there not a famine in our nation? And what a strange way to present this, because again, access and resources of the preached Word has never been this accessible in all of world history. And yet, does it not appear that there is a hunger, a thirsting, and really a duty and a responsibility to the preacher and to the church, that the church secures a preaching post, like the people secured with Ezra and Nehemiah, the priest. And they instructed him, when you get to that podium, give us the Word, give us the book. We've not heard from it, we've not read from it, we've not heard preaching of it for 70 years, 75 years. Give us the benefit of the Word of God. Mankind is not in any kind of a famine of access to the Word of God. What we are in is indeed a famine of hunger and thirsting for the Word of God. There is more to you than just physical anatomy. You are more than just chemicals and atoms and cartilage and bones and blood. If you were just like the animals in the kingdom that God has created, then perhaps bread would be enough. Perhaps the garbage pile would be enough. Have you traveled anywhere outside of the United States? Well, have you traveled anywhere outside of our beautiful valley? There are piles of garbage in the streets, and in order to take care of it, you need a good dog or a goat or a pig. They'll feed on it and we'll be happy. This can't be the case for us. We're not like the animal kingdom. Garbage would be enough for the animal kingdom, but mankind needs more than just food. It needs more than just shelter and sex and food. We live in perhaps the most physically comfortable society the world has ever known. In all of history, And yet our society is literally imploding on itself. Now, yes, an argument, and a good argument can be made. Maybe we're in a season of reprieve from the craziness of what we've been in for the last handful of years. I would agree. I think it is a kindness of God. But is it not true that we really are amongst the most physically comfortable, we are in the most physically comfortable society perhaps any people have ever known? So why would there be such a famine for the Word? We have everything to make us happy. If we're like the humanist or the evolutionist who say that we are just one-dimensional beings, physical animals, just a more highly evolved species, then we need to realize we are more than one-dimensional creatures. We are those whom God breathed life into. Not just simple life. God breathed a living soul when He breathed into the nostrils of Adam, making him a living soul, not just a one-dimensional being. He is complex. You know this. You have emotions, you have thoughts, you have the capacity to reason and think. You have the capacity to create and destroy. What would be the benefit of having more of the Word of God? I'm not just talking more access to the Word of God, but what if we literally ate more at the Lord's table and was fed from His beautiful book? You're going to hear the brothers make arguments for this tonight. The fact is, we need more of the Word of God. You need God. You need His Word in your life. As a matter of fact, you need more than houses and clothes and cars. You need more than business success and fame. You need more than wealth. You need more than fine dining and sexual relationships. You need more than jewelry. We need Christ, the living Word of God. Let me help us think of this as we prepare to sing again. There are many reasons in which the Word of God has been abandoned in our day. The arrogance of man, humanism has corrupted man's thinking into thinking he needs God or he wants God. And then third, there's theological liberalism that is running rampant. Think of the access that the world has to quote-unquote preachers or to churches, and think of how theologically liberal the vast majority of that is. What a danger it is to society. And then finally, the reasons why we are in need of more of the Word of God is because look at our culture. There is a strong movement in American evangelicalism today to try to culturalize Christianity. We must resist making secularism out of the church. And the church must be and has to be active in creating a Christianly culture, different than the world's. So when the people come to Ezra there at the podium and they say, "Give us the book," they are saying we need to eat from the living Word of God.